And welcome back to Modern Survivability. Think fast, think accurate. What we're going to be talking about today is my take on your classic Altoid survival tin, right? Lots of different varieties or whatnot, and I've carried one of these for a long time. However, my take is a little bit bigger, right? And it's not really geared towards a survival kit, because let's face it, it's a pretty small kit. But it's just my take on a little kit that you could use on a daily basis that might give you an edge on what you need to do. So let's dive in. Alright, so first things first, like we just said, we're going to be talking about my own take on what, people would be like. You have your Altoid survival tins. These are two right here. This is one I used to use right here. But it's more like a personal survival kit for me, or a last ditch kit, whatever you want to call it, whatever thing you want to throw out there. Okay, it's my take on it. I know there's a million videos out there, but this is my take. Okay, so I used to carry one of these Altoid survival tins, and there's a lot of videos out there that shows you mountains of things you can put in these and what they can be used for, right? But I found that whereas sometimes it was beneficial to me, it was also something that, because there wasn't just enough to it that I would remember it all the time. I don't know exactly how to put that, but if it's something that you're going to carry every day, like a part of your EDC, and it's just habit, or just whatever, to throw it in your pocket whenever you're walking out the door, you're going to keep carrying it. And if it's not super heavy or anything like that, also you're going to keep carrying it. However, I found out that, granted, these things are like a last ditch. A bunch of people even think they're kind of gimmicky. Some of the videos I've seen that people use these for they're kind of gimmicky, and they're kind of just somebody had some fun to see what they could put in a tin. And there's nothing wrong with that. Me personally, I tried to put some stuff in there that I would use every now and again when I didn't have my bag or something. Depending on where I was at work or whatnot. So yeah, Altoid's tins, they're good for what they are. But I'm going to do my take, and my take is actually a little bit bigger than the Altoid's tin. I'll show you a size comparison here in a minute. There's another one here, and this is going to be my take on a personal survival kit. And we'll discuss why in just a second. You see the difference in size. Obviously, we all know what an Altoid's, tin looks like, right? Well, this is a Pelican case. You can see the size difference, right? Much bigger than your Altoid's tin, right? So we're going to set that all to the side. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through what I have in here and the reason why I have it in there. First, I'd like to say that the reason I actually went with a bigger kit is because the particular way I carry my bags in my EDC allows me to have something a little bit bigger to carry on my person almost every single day. Now, this will fit in a cargo pocket, pretty easy if you wear something with cargo pockets on it. But the big idea behind something like this is, for whatever reason, you have to leave that bag, which I know it's kind of a, well, if I have to leave the bag, why am I going to take the time to take the kit out? Yeah, I got that. This is just kind of my take on the whole personal survival kit, and something you may be able, if all else fails, you can take this and have a couple of essentials in it to get you by for at least a little bit. Now, I'm not saying this is a survival kit as in I'm going to go out and survive in the woods kind of thing, because it's not. Let me get that out of the way up front. This is it's not a comprehensive survival kit. This is a little, like what most people would call a personal survival kit, but in the fact that it would only last you just a little bit, and with only certain provisions inside. Now, this is really small. There's not a lot you can fit into something. It's just like the Altoid survival. It's not meant to be a actual save your life, survival kit. That's not what it's supposed to be. So let me get that out of the way up front. This is more something I kind of had a little fun with, but also carry on a daily basis, and I put things in here that I would use. So let's get into it. First off, the case. It's a Pelican 1010, right? Waterproof case. It has it's lined on the inside. It has a nice seal that goes around there. It's completely waterproof. Anybody that's dealt with Pelican cases knows this. I use Pelican cases for a lot of things. On the outside of it, before we get started, go ahead and have just a small little carabiner and this little piece of 550 cord for some extra cordage, nonetheless, more or less something just to carry it with. It also has a whistle that's connected to it. It's not a Fox 40 or anything like that, but you know, it does work, right? And like I said, this isn't the end-all be-all to survival kits. So you got a little bit of cordage, and we talk about the 5Cs, the 10Cs of survival. There's one of them right there. All right, you got some cordage and also a signaling device. We're going to set that off to the side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to open this up, right? Show you what we got on the inside. First and foremost, right here on the inside, I have taped some Gorilla Tape, best stuff ever, in my opinion. All right, I have, you can see it right there, a couple of small fish hooks. Why not? I have room for them in there. Why not? All right, I probably won't be fishing in this instance, but I do have them in there because they weigh almost absolutely nothing, and you can put them in there, and you can also use them for other things too if you have to. Next thing I'm going to have is a signal mirror, right? Standard star flash signal mirror with the targeting thing in the middle. Great piece of kit. You can use these for lots of things other than signaling. I mean, if you have to use it to get something in your eye and you need to look and try to find getting out of there, it'll work. All right, it's pretty simple. Great piece of kit, pretty lightweight. We'll just set that over there. All right, next thing, we're gonna have a trusty Bic lighter. All right, now do know this is really no particular order as far as I'm laying this stuff out. Move that back a little bit so I can have some room. So I'm going to try to keep all like items together as far as like your combustion, your cutting tools, your all those things. You're going to try to stay together. So standard Bic lighter. One thing you can do, and I do it most of the time, is I put a little piece of zip tie or a little piece of string up under this so it doesn't automatically become depressed inside of here. But the way I package it, I make it so that the little lever doesn't come down and all the fuel come out. So Bic lighter, and if it breaks, you still have a sparking device right there for combustion. So we got that. Next, I have some waterproof matches. A couple of those, 3 of those. Also have the striker that goes with them. Got to have a striker. Now, there are some matches that say they're strike anywhere matches, but I have found to always keep that as a backup just in case, because you never know, right? And it's literally a piece of paper with a striker on it, so not super hard. All right, some of the next things we have are these come in so many different ways as far as things you can do with fixing things, and that are zip ties. And I'm using the little ones in this particular kit. You can actually put bigger ones in here, and I do have room to put bigger ones in here, but for right now, I'm just using some of these small zip ties. All right, next thing we have is a compass. Now, granted, it's a button compass. I got that, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're kind of tragic, this, that, and the other. Now, people do sometimes put things like that in there, like that kind of button compass. They do work. They're just for general direction finding. However, this particular one is a liquid-filled Sunto compass. Very good, glows in the dark. I've used this numerous times. It's actually designed to go on a watch band, but I keep it in here as a backup navigation device if I don't, obviously have my bag, my get-home bag, or, my regular compass. I don't know which way to go. This gives me general direction finding, okay? So a compass. All right. We're just working from top to bottom. I have it packed in a particular order, and like I said, not everything is exactly together with its like item. Next, I have a piece of tinfoil, and we're going to put that down here over here with the tools. And you can use that tinfoil for multiple things, from making a small container to trying to cook something in. You can even use it for a signaling device if you have to. Generally, it's going to be used for making some sort of impromptu container should you not have one. Now, we do have a container option in here that I'm going to show you in just a minute. All right. The next thing we're going to pull out here is on the C for candling. and part of your 10Cs, right? And that is a light. Now that's just a little keychain light, right? But one thing I like about it for the fact is you can actually replace the batteries in these. I don't know that you ever would if it ever got used that much, but you could, right? The fact that the button on here is really hard to accidentally turn on inside of here. Like some of the ones you find in here have a press button. They can turn on pretty easy, and you can also clip this to something. It has a little key ring on it. You know, it's a little cheap, inexpensive light, but it really works. So there's your something to light things with, right? Next thing, we're going to jump back over to some of our combustion, and I got Tender Quick. If you've seen any videos about how to start fires on YouTube or anything like that, a lot of people use Tender Quick. I've talked about it in some of my videos and some of my podcasts. Tender Quick is amazing. You take it, you pull it apart, right? You fluff it up. It's actually about the size of a cotton ball when it's all fluffed out, and it takes a spark like nobody's business. Okay, now you can use your lighter to light this. You could use one of the matches. You can use, if the fuel's out, the sparking device from your big lighter will actually light one of these too. So Tender Quick, and I got 3 of those in there. Next thing, as far as the cutting tool goes, I have a small, I believe this is a Leatherman Gerber curve, and I've had this for a long time. And it's something I've kept in multiple little kits that I would have just because of its size, and it works really well for what it is, right? Obviously, you got a regular knife, a flathead, a Phillips, a file that, I mean, it's more or less a gimmick on there. It doesn't really work too great unless you your fingernails or something. I don't know, but which could be a thing for some people. It has 2 different types, and I've used this quite a bit, and it also has a little small. I didn't pull it out there. A little small one also. I've used that one quite a bit for little small things that you might find yourself like maybe at the office or work or out and about doing something, and for whatever reason you left your actual Gerber, your actual Leatherman at the house. You could pull this out and use it. It works pretty. It's pretty solid considering how small it is. Also has a bottle opener on the other end. So and it's made by a decent company. So Gerber, Leatherman, they're all great. So this is a Gerber curve. The next thing I have in here is your tried and true can opener, right? And somebody's going to correct me on this. I know it's a P38 or P51. I can't remember which one, however. In the comments below, I'm sure somebody's going to correct me. They kind of always do. But I've used this before. It works great. They used to issue these to people in the military in certain countries. Some countries, they might even still do it. They don't for our military anymore that I know of. I know they didn't issue it to me when I was in. But they work great. So basically the way it works is you open it up like that and go around the can. Great piece of kit. All right, can opener, and you tie it around your neck or whatever. Next thing I have, and this is just something that I've always thrown in my little small kits, and in my bigger kits I have a bigger version of this, and it is quite simply a piece of a glue stick. Instead of carrying around a tube of super glue that may get punctured with all the little sharp things in here, that's a great idea. I've also done that too, and some bigger kits actually do have like Gorilla Glue or super glue that's in a plastic container, so it's less likely to get punctured than the little metal ones that come in. But with this, because the temperature at which it melts at, you can put it in here even in a hot vehicle or something like that, and it's probably not going to melt. You definitely need some sort of open flame to melt this, and you can make some sort of small repairs to some things. So a little piece of a glue stick, and if you got a bigger kit or using a bigger kit, use a whole glue stick or use the bigger version of a glue stick. So I can put that over there with the fire stuff. Okay, next thing I'm going to pull out is some cords. Dental floss is ridiculously strong. It just is. Now you have your normal size things like this for smaller kits or whatnot, and that's what I used to use. But I found out that I could fit one of these even in your Altoid tin. A bigger one is better because for when you got more cordage, it's going to last longer. And you can use this for anything from its intended purpose of flossing your teeth. Got to keep them chompers clean, right? To sewing up something or tying something together that doesn't necessarily need a high tensile strength to keep it going. So dental floss, and it's conveniently wrapped on. And when you get it, it comes in that box. You break the box off or open the box up. It just popped this out, and it fits conveniently, right, in your kit. It also burns pretty well too. Most of them do. Next thing I have is safety pins, and I got 2 different sizes. Right, I got them all connected on one. It's a little hard to see when I'm trying to do this on the video, but safety pins in 2 different sizes. Obviously, a multitude of uses for safety pins. Okay. Next thing I have in here is a pair of tweezers. Now, a lot of people use these sliver grippers, which look identical to this. This is just made by a different company, Brigade Quartermasters, I believe, and it's something you find on a military installation or whatnot. And I've had these for years, and they work great because you never know when you're out and about if you're going to need a pair of tweezers to pull out a splinter, a quill, maybe a piece of broke glass or something. And if we're talking about a situation in which you're probably using some of this stuff, or may use some of this stuff towards a survival aspect and not just your daily thing, you might have to pull some broken glass out of something. That's a good way to do it. This, along with the mirror to look at your face or something, you could probably help yourself out a little bit with that. So, a good pair of tweezers are always good to have. And next is just a little piece of snare wire, and this is just a tiny piece. I don't plan on making snares. In that event that I would have to use this to go that deep into a survival situation, like I said, that's not what this is intended for. But for whatever instance, this is all I had. This piece of wire, along with the cordage I have and the 550 cord on the outside, I could rig up something to make a small snare. You're not catching anything big, that's for sure, because there's not a lot. You could definitely add more in here, because I do have some room in this kit to add things. It's not completely packed to the top like some of the other Altoids 10s and other survival kits you see on YouTube, where they're holding it together with a Ranger band and it's barely holding on because there's just so much stuff packed into it. Hey, to each their own. That's good, and I'm glad. But this kit, I left a little bit of room to move some stuff around, and yeah, so there you go, a little piece of wire. Next, we're going to talk about water, right? 2 things right here. First and foremost is a container. Now, this right here is a 2-quart, I believe it's 2-quart, a 2-quart water bag, and I got it all folded up here, nice and neat with a rubber band around it. It's specifically, it stands on its freestanding, it'll stand up on its own. So there's that for collecting the water. And then I got water purification tablets to go with that, right? You got to purify the water somehow. Now, this is assuming you've used your clothing or a bandana or something like that to get all the particulate matter out before you pour the water in. So, I mean, it's water purification tablets. It doesn't get rid of sticks and bugs, right? And that's not what it does. But once you get some mediocre water in there, some questionable water in your water bag, you can put one of these in there. Wait the time that's on the directions right here. And then you got some potable water to drink. It might not be the best tasting water, but it will keep you alive. Now, there again, this is something I said that not 100% intended for legit, oh no, I'm stuck in the middle of the Amazon rainforest and this is all I got. I mean, if it is, you're going to have to make it work. I don't know how well it's going to, but it is a way, right? In case you need some drinking water, there you go. Water purification tablets and a bag. On the same token of that, I'll move that aside for a second, is, this next one is in case you got your own water bottle, right? And if you got your own water bottle, an Altoid bottle, even just a regular water bottle, you can still use a water purification tablets to clean it. All right, and I just got a package of some energy powder, just like you put in a regular water bottle to drink on a daily basis. This is just an idea, right? It's not, hey, you got to go out and buy this particular one, or I don't endorse any particular one per se. But they do make ones out there like this. This particular one doesn't really. This is more just for taste than actual electrolytes and stuff. If you go to the section of the grocery store, they do make some like this that are packed with electrolytes, and you can throw one of those in here just in case. It's actually probably a better idea. And if you're going to use this more geared towards that, there you go. You could get a whole pack of them, take some of them, put them in your get-home bag, your bug-out bag, leave them around the office, the work, school, church, wherever you got, right? You can leave some of these. Just in case somebody's having some normally related to heat-related issues, dehydration and things like that. You can mix up one of those and give it to them and try to help them out until you can get the proper medical treatment. All right, so next and last thing we're going to talk about, actually, before we get there, another part of your tools and actually combustion is a Fresnel lens. It's a magnifying glass, right? You see how thin it is. It's thin as a credit card, right? It weighs almost nothing. You can start a fire with this. You can look at your hand to try to see if you try to get out that splinter we've been talking about this whole time. And like I said, it weighs next to nothing, costs almost nothing, and you start a fire with it, or use it for some medical things. You're trying to read some small print on something. Who knows? Trying to read the print on that. There you go. It's a magnifying glass. We'll set that over there with a signal mirror. Now get to the last section of this thing, and we're going to be talking about medical. Now, medical is, or first aid is kind of a broad thing, but when it comes to a little kit like that, there's only so much you can put in here. And this isn't a trauma kit. This isn't IFAC, or anything like this. This has just got some things in here for some small, we'll say, boo-boos and common things that would happen on a daily basis. So first thing we're going to talk about, I got some triple antibiotic ointment. So basically your Neosporin, right? We got some alcohol swabs. Cool thing about alcohol swabs, you can start a fire with those if you don't have anything else. They're saturated in alcohol, which is flammable. They can actually help be a fire starter if you need it. Next, we're going to talk about the medication in here. Now, this is just an example. I actually keep these in here, but also keep some other things in here too, which I've taken out because of the packaging that I have them in is not the best. But I will tell you that this right here is just 2 Imodium. Great thing to have if you're in that situation. Last thing you need is diarrhea blowing all over the place. It would be a bad situation. It's going to dehydrate you, make you feel even worse, right? But also carry some Benadryl, right? It's a couple of things that most people would carry in a kit that almost everybody can take, and that's your Imodium, right? Your Benadryl in case you have an allergic reaction to something while you're out and about doing these things. And some sort of pain medication like Tylenol, Advil, Aleve, whatever, ibuprofen, whatever you need. And it's always a good idea to keep it in a blister pack that it comes in for multiple reasons. For one, it keeps it safe from getting wet or anything like that. It keeps it from getting damaged until you actually need to use it. 2, if you keep it in a blister pack on the back of it, it tells you what it is. So in the off chance that you run into law enforcement, for whatever reason, they're searching through this and wonder what kind of nut job you are, right, for carrying a survival kit, because let's face it, that's what most people think we are. They won't think you got random drugs on you because it's still in its original packaging. Just keep that in mind. That's just a reason, right? But Imodium, Benadryl, and some sort of pain medication. Then after that, if you got any, maybe you got a condition or something like that, it requires you to carry some sort of medication every day. Make sure you can keep, a couple of extras in there. Just make sure you keep, if it comes in a blister pack, even better. Try to keep it in original packaging to put in here, just in case for whatever reason you forgot to take your medication that morning you're at work or at school or whatever. You're like, oh man, I really need that. Insert medication there, right? You can go in here, you can get it, right? And then the last couple of things we have in here is just some different size Band-Aids, right? You got some butterflies, you got some bigger Band-Aids, and the reason these particular ones also, you can get them from all your major retail stores and things like that, and they actually come with honey infused into the bandage. I know the Band-Aid brand specifically makes those. I don't know about other brands or something like that, but honey's a really good antimicrobial thing, so it can really help out with someone. Just be careful, make sure you know what you're doing before you throw it on there. But like I said, some of the Band-Aids actually come infused with that now. There are some Band-Aids now that come infused with triple antibiotic ointment, or Neosporin as everybody likes to call it, even though there's other brands. So with that being said, that is my take on a small personal survival kit, or a last ditch kit kind of thing. Now, do keep in mind that this is just my take on it. There's lots of things that other people put in here that I don't have in here, or something I have in here that you might not have in here. You might think is dumb. That's great. This is more of a idea This is more of a brainstorming thing to get people out there when you're watching this, thinking about what you could put in one of these and tailor it to your specific needs for you and your family. That's the main point why I'm putting out this video. Okay, it's not like, hey, this is exactly what you have to have in this kit, or you're not going to make it, or it's not going to work for you. That's not the case. This is just a basic overview of what I've got in my little kit. And like I said at the beginning, it's a little heavier than your Altoid survival kit, but because of me personally and the way I'm able to carry things every day and the way that I do things, I'm able to carry this weight, no problem. All right. So with that being said, just keep in mind that speed is fast, but accuracy is final. Stay safe, and remember, you are the last line of defense.